Welcome back. Qualcomm unveiling a new data center roadmap, including the introduction of its Dragonfly C1000 central processing unit, or CPU. The company revealing that Meta has agreed to use that new chip as part of a new partnership. Qualcomm also set to acquire AI startup Modular as it makes its AI software push. Joining me right now is the president and CEO of Qualcomm, Cristiano Amon. Cristiano, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Very happy to be talking to you, Maria.
Well, you are diversifying this company in a big way and putting it on a different growth track. Tell me about these recent deals and this entrance into this new market for Qualcomm.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll step back a little bit. Actually, we had this investor day yesterday, and that kind of coincides with my 5-year anniversary as CEO of this company that I joined for 30 years ago. We had been executed the first phase of the diversification of Qualcomm when we went from being a mobile processor company to now provide semiconductors to everything on the edge, from automotive to industrial to robotics to broadband to PCs. And now we started the new chapter of the company as we enter the data center. We announced a complete portfolio of technologies that are going to be where the data center is going. An Agentic AI CPU, an accelerator with a new memory architecture. Memory is very hot these days, and we don't require HBM. And we talk about connectivity and custom ASIC, and we put a projection about Qualcomm is going to be a player in the data center. We're very excited about that. And with the acquisition of Modular, we actually throw our name in the hat to be a full stack player with a software stack for the data center as well.
Very exciting. And after the investor day, a lot of analysts were questioning how sustainable this is, because we know, Cristiano, your company dominated mobile chips, and now you're becoming a competitor in this very crowded field. How much confidence do you have that you're going to be a serious competitor to a company like Nvidia, for example?
You know, Maria, it's great. I was reading a lot of the analyst reports from the investor day, and that's one headline that I really like it and caught my attention. There's one headline that said, "This is not your father's Qualcomm anymore," and I think that's kind of the story of the company. The company has been, and we don't apologize for it. It's still an important business of Qualcomm. I think mobile is important. We're working out on 6G. I think we're actually the only company in the United States that are driving the 6G roadmap. We're now going to be the largest semiconductor provider in automotive globally. We went into this hot transformation of industries for the future of industrial manufacturing. We went into robotics, and it was just natural that we're going to expand at the data center. What made Qualcomm so unique is our track record execution proves that we can enter new markets and develop new core competencies, and we have a very vast technology roadmap. Even there are many companies bigger than Qualcomm. In 2025, we're the #1 company in America in invention disclosures and patent applications. We have a very strong engineering team, and no challenge is big enough for Qualcomm.
Which is why you raised your 2029 fiscal year revenue target all the way up to $40 billion, nearly 2 times higher than the prior goal. So I want to get your take on that. Break it down for us, Cristiano. How much of the future growth comes from smartphones versus what you're talking about, automotive, PCs, AI servers, robotics, and other industrial applications?
Yes, this is a great question. One, we have been on this mission to diversify the company and have more vectors of growth and revenue than handsets. So what we did back in 2024, we did indicate that our non-handset revenues will be $22 billion. We upgraded that number to 40. And that means by fiscal 29, handsets will represent about 1/3 of the company revenues from being before in excess of 70%.
Yeah, and you know, all of this incredible demand that is leading to this build out of data center has some people worried about the fact that the spending seems to be dominated or driven by just 7 companies, right? You've got companies like Microsoft and Google and Meta and Nvidia and Anthropic, etc. Do you worry that this is a small universe of, no doubt, hyperscalers, But talk to us about the expectations that you have that this massive spending continues. What are we at, like $800 billion in spending this year alone?
We're now entering a new phase of AI. In this new phase of AI, every computing system, including the computers we use every day, our phone, our PC, new classes of devices like smart glasses, they're going to be running artificial intelligence. They're going to be doing inference in those devices. So we're entering the phase that intelligence is becoming distributed and hybrid, which is a good thing for us because all of the other business that we have are going to get upgraded with AI. That means that AI is not only concentrated on the data center and it's going to everywhere. So a lot of opportunities will exist for more demand for computing. The second part of the answer is the demand for data centers is incredible. And as AI move from transactional to agentic, you now have agents that go do things and operate the computers on our behalf. The demand for tokens is now astronomical, and that is driving massive amount of demand in the data center, and that's why you see this kind of spending. There's a lot of questions about, is this sustainable, not sustainable? It's hard to answer with precision, but I can tell you about the bigger picture. Back in 2000, and this is not a great year to provide an example, but back in 2000, the reality is whatever people thought the internet is going to be is much bigger right now. In 2026, it's way bigger than people even dreamed the internet will be back in the year 2000. I think AI is the same thing. Whatever people believe AI is going to be, it's going to be bigger. Now, we're now in the early innings. I think everybody is investing. Everybody wants to be a winner. We'll see how those things are going to play out. But at least for the next few years, I think demand is massive, and that would also create opportunities for new entrants like Qualcomm.
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned the smart glasses, and we've spoken with the leadership team at Meta about those smart glasses. And I just wonder if there's a lot of compute near a person's brain with those smart glasses. I agree those smart glasses are really cool looking and they're interesting to be able to get such intelligence so quickly. But is there any worry that there's so much compute power on your face?
No, not really. I think those are not very different than the compute that you have on your smartphone. But the interesting thing about glasses, though, there's a very interesting thing about glasses, and Meta is correct. And there's many other companies investing on this. As we humans start to interact with the computers the way we interact with ourselves, glasses is a very important real estate because it's close to our eyes, our ears, our mouth, and AI is going to see what we see, hear what we hear, read what we read, and then you have this intelligence very quickly. So those things are likely going to be a new class of mobile devices. We see designs now from all major AI companies in the world, and actually it's a foundation thing for 6G. 6G is going to transform all of us into walking cameras because we have the ability to, everything that we see, send it to AI models that will interact with us and get intelligence right away. And that's an exciting new device category.
It's really incredible, Cristiano. I mean, I feel like we really are in a new world with regard to humans interacting with machines. And I want to get back to the agentic AI part of the conversation because, Cristiano, we did a lot of work on AI and the future and this intelligence revolution. And we did have some skeptics come on the show and talk to us about how agentic AI is equivalent to agents, in some cases, acting unpredictably. So, Cristiano, what do you want to say about that? We know that Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, had an emergency meeting with a number of the AI companies and banks trying to ensure that institutions have the right patches in place to get ahead of potential bad actors when it comes to agentic AI. Do you have worries about agentic AI and the agents acting unpredictably, Cristiano?
Look, we're the early stages of agents, and there are different types of agents. Like, for example, what we see in phones and PCs right now, you saw Microsoft at the Build conference talking about unmetered intelligence now that with models that can run on your PC and it's going to run on your phone. And what those things are going to do, it's going to operate the device for you. You're going to tell the agent, I want to get this thing done, and we'll go to the internet, we'll go to your device, operate your app for you, and those things are going to start getting traction. And it is true, like every technology, it's the same issue since we started to go digital. That's why security, cybersecurity becomes very important. With every technology, you need to make sure you have the right safeguards, and more important, you have trusted company, trusted provider of technologies that is going to work with all the institutions to make sure that you actually have the safeguards in place. It's no different than the entire financial system becoming digital, and I think this is the next big step function. Those are very powerful models. They can do many things, and it will require a lot of trusted companies to be involved in the loop.
Cristiano, you say there's an opportunity for more than $100 billion in annual revenue over the next 5 to 7 years. How do you get there? Is this all about that data center build out?
It's a combination. I think we do have ambitions to scale in the data center, and I think our early wins are very encouraging. I think we provide we're starting from nothing. We did provide a very high confident forecast of $5 billion that in fiscal 27 that quickly grows to about $15 billion. And that's in addition of that, we have the other vectors of growth, which is our robotics business, our automotive business, our new industrial business. And when you look at all those things combined, you see a path for Qualcomm to more than double our revenues, and that's why we provide this $100 billion revenue forecast in 5 to 7 years. One other element that is built into that is robotics. There's a lot of opportunities with robotics. The technology is still under development, but it's very promising what we see in this field.
Well, you're transitioning toward becoming a full-scale AI platform, Cristiano, and in doing that, you also announced the acquisition of AI soft company Modular for $3.9 billion. Tell me about this. Is this a move to ensure that you've got faster and cheaper business for your customers?
It's a very ambitious move. I think we're aiming very high. And it almost like doesn't matter because it's an incredible software team. They work at Apple, they work at Tesla, and some of the biggest, and Google, some of the biggest companies in the world. And what we're doing, actually, we're providing a platform for AI computing that is scale from the data center to the edge, and we make it available to everyone. That's the plan of Modular they do today, and they have been making this technology available. They show how it works. This enables Qualcomm to be a full stack provider, at the same time offering an alternative to the industry that is more affordable and allow AI to scale and be democratized and go into every possible device that exists out there.
Really fascinating. I guess the questions are, do you have the capabilities to actually scale this up, Cristiano? How do you convince investors that you actually have what it takes, whether it be the memory, whether it be the expertise or the capabilities to really compete with some of these companies that are actually your customers, right? I mean, you do business with these companies, and they're trying to do what you're doing with AI.
The Qualcomm execution track record is actually very good. Every new industry that we said we will enter, in a period of time, we became the leader of the industry. So if anything, we have our track record, we have our engineering culture, we have our innovation, we have the fact that we're primarily an engineering company, and ability to be focused and execute. The other part of the answer is we're actually not competing. We're enabling all of those companies. Always been an enabler. We provide a horizontal platform, and the way we're approaching software is the same.
Well, this has really improved visibility for Wall Street, and they are looking at a long runway of growth, Cristiano. I want to get your take overall with the sectors driving this. You mentioned automotive. How important is the automotive platform gaining scale in terms of your growth story?
Oh, yeah, it's significant. We just had 23, I want to repeat, 23 quarters of sequential growth in automotive. The last quarter, we provide guide for about 50%, year-over-year growth in automotive. And our automotive business, it's already exiting, the year at a $66 billion run rate. And we did provide a projection for that to get to about $10 billion in fiscal 29. But what's important now about our automotive business is when you think about who are our customers right now, every automaker now across all the major markets that have automakers in Europe, in Japan, in Korea, in the United States, in India, in China, are using Qualcomm platforms. We're a big supplier of the industry. And our design win pipeline, which means all of the contracted backlog of business that was $45 billion, we updated that yesterday, and the pipeline is now $65 billion of contracted business.
That's incredible. Cristiano, final question here. What do you want to tell investors and viewers about Qualcomm looking different in 5 years than it is today? What is it that may surprise them in 5 years about this company?
Look, exactly as I outlined, I think Qualcomm, first, we started, back in 2021, we put this strategy that we're going to build semiconductors for everything in the edge, or everything outside the data center. We have done that. That is now scaling revenue. We proved that we can learn new core competencies and come in a leadership position to establish industry. Qualcomm will be a player in the next generation AI data centers and will be an AI platform company from sub 2 milliwatts, from wearable earbuds that you can connect to a model all the way to the data center. And there's very few companies in the world with that breadth of technology and IP, and that creates a very exciting story for our investors on the long run.
Wow, what a moment in time, Cristiano. Congratulations to you. We'll be watching the story. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maria. Great to talk to you.
Cristiano Amon is the CEO at Qualcomm.